What's up, everyone, and welcome to your Friday's edition of Reptile News. Now, I want to get into something real quick today before we get into the news, and that is the show schedule. It's been all over the place, and for several years, and lately it's been pretty much not at all, just whenever I have time and I'm able to do it. But the polls are in on the website, and 63% of you wonderful bastards out there voted for me to do it 7 days a week. No, I can't do it 7 days a week. But what I'm going to try to do for you guys is I'm going to try to go back to the schedule that we were at once before, at the 5 days a week. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I found myself with a little bit of free time on my hands, so I figured what better time than now to try the 5 day a week thing. So starting immediately, that is the direction we're going to go with this channel. And obviously that is highly contingent on the amount of news that's available. I don't want to get on here and just talk about nothing like I kind of am now. So if you guys see anything out there that you want to see me cover on this show, then just send it to me. You can send it to me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, right in the comments. However, email, call me, give me a call. I'll take a call too. Now we're going to start off today in Australia, where this really, under most circumstances, I wouldn't have even talked about this, but there was a pretty big brown snake found, and I want to go from that, and I want to jump right into a problem that we have had for so long, both inside and outside of our hobby, and that is forced perspective, visual perception of pictures. You see, at first, the news story was using this picture to relay what they were going to talk about, and then when you clicked on it, you saw a completely different picture. And while no doubt this brown snake measured a little over 6.5 foot long, it's a pretty good sized snake. I don't know if that's big for a brown snake. The article does say that they usually come in at about 1.5 meters. This one was 2.013 meters long, but it really just eats at me how people use that forced perspective to get views or whatever. I mean, I apologize, I just did it to you guys, but that's besides the point, because it's okay if I do it, because I'm speaking out against it. But yeah, no doubt this was obviously a pretty large brown snake, and not necessarily an animal that I would want to really mess too much with. Now, this next story we're going to go into is out of Washington, and it's really, I don't understand what goes through some people's heads. And this is not just a Washington thing, because the same thing happened in Florida 3 years ago, where people were painting turtles. And in this particular circumstance, somebody went out to watch the sunset over a pond in Washington at a state park, and they found turtles with swastikas painted on them. And, I'm not going to even get into the hate of our country and the politics and all of that stuff, but I will say that they are our douchebags of the day, because the swastikas were backwards even. I mean, if you're going to do something stupid like that and hateful, at least do it right. They weren't even smart enough to do it right, and I'm just highly suspicious about this story, and it deeply concerns me that it came out of Washington, because I would definitely expect something like this out of Florida. Washington be the next Florida? And now, speaking of Florida, we're actually going to talk about Florida now, more specifically Lee County. And I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of yesterday's story that we talked about from Indiana, I believe it was. I guess in Lee County, they're having these training seminars, if you will, training people how to identify and catch the invasive pythons in Florida. And we have talked about this so many times, and you guys, I like to think everybody here knows my thought process when it comes to the pythons in Florida. For those of you that do, I apologize. I'm going to repeat myself for the newer people that don't know my thought process about the pythons in Florida, and that is they don't belong. They should be removed by any means necessary. We had talked a long time ago that the Burmese python was on the ICUN red list as threatened in its native range, and we had talked about an idea of just shipping them back home. They need them there. We don't want them here. But I understand the politics, the finances behind doing something like that, but I digress. Back to the story. My belief is they don't belong here. They need to be removed by any means necessary. And I believe this for any just big invasive species anywhere. It doesn't have to be Florida. It doesn't have to be the pythons. It could be anything, anywhere. It's invasive species are so destructive to the habitat where they occur, and where their populations can explode in a place like the southern part of our country, you just can't. It's kind of a no holds barred thing. And I love snakes, guys. I would take every one of those pythons right into my house and keep it as a pet. You guys know I would. But they got to do it by any means necessary, but not these means. I am deeply concerned on reading this that we're going to have a bunch of yahoos going out and hunting for snakes and getting themselves hurt. And it's going to create, I mean, let's be, okay, back up here a little bit. If we're being honest here, it's going to create a lot of content for me to talk about. People getting attacked by pythons in Florida. But at the same time, I don't want to talk about people going out and getting hurt. But I fear that something like that might happen. So it kind of gives you something to think about. And with that, I'd love to know what you guys think about just the public at large being trained to catch wild pythons. Leave a comment down below and let me know. And that's where I'm going to end today's show. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, those links are right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you Monday.